Weather storm specialist Mike Seidel is out in the elements in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Mike, I'm still pinching myself and trying to grasp that this is reality and not a dream. I mean, the images, the videos from Louisiana, Florida are just mind-blowing.
And I'm pinching myself because Craig just said that the airport had reopened. Because I have a flight this evening, and I want
to way out.
I don't want to have to drive back to Atlanta, but my gosh, you just made my morning.
Excellent,
I can die
my
happy.
friend.
Okay, let's get. Yeah, thank you very much. And remember, it's buffalo wings. Let's go to what we saw on Tuesday. This is the video, and I can't get enough of this or the video in Pensacola Beach, but this is the snowfall from Tuesday. Look at how hard it's coming down. Now, fortunately, we did not have a lot of wind here, being away from the Gulf, but at an inch an hour, temperatures were 26, 27 degrees. It was incredible. I mean, this would have been impressive for any northern city, let alone along Interstate 10 here in Louisiana. Likewise in Mobile, Milton, Florida, biggest Florida snowstorm on the record, 8.8. We still do not have the official total here in Baton Rouge. They don't have an observer at the airport. We're going to stick with what we had yesterday, just over 7 inches, 7.5 inches. It may be a little less, it may be a little more. Hopefully today we'll get a number, but the daily record is 6.5, set back in 1895 rather. So we'll see if we end up breaking it, but numerous reports around the area of 6 to 8, even 9 inches of snow. Little housekeeping here yesterday. How about this? New Orleans, 34 for a high, 22 for a low. Both are records. Record low min, record low max. You don't often see that. That's an extremely cold day. We had 7 yesterday morning, coldest January day on record. Yesterday afternoon, 38 degrees, and I still can't get over, having lived in Atlanta, but even this far south, how strong the sun is even in January. Oh, by the way, the average high has now increased to 63. We're heading up towards spring and summer when it's ghastly here. But look at the roads here. This is the I-10 interchange out on College Ave. Not a speck of snow or ice, and there was not one plow. All that 6 to 7 inches melted yesterday, courtesy of the strong sun angle and the albedo on the asphalt and concrete. And there's the interchange, still closed this morning, but here on the ground, where you don't have that radiation being soaked up by the asphalt and concrete, we still have 2 or 3 inches of snow. Now, there are still some icy patches on neighborhood streets and streets that have been shaded. But by and large, a 90% improvement on the surface streets since yesterday morning. But we got to get I-10 open. I want to show you what I saw yesterday. First, this is Interstate 110, which branches off from 10 in downtown Baton Rouge. This is what I saw. I came up the ramp and then shot the video looking towards I-10. And look at that interstate. It really hasn't been touched. There's been some traffic, I guess DOT traffic, but no plows or anything. I estimated about 4 to 5 inches of snow on the road surface. This is about 3 p.m. yesterday after getting the sunshine. And now look at the piece of equipment they used. Now, I shot this just around the corner, the overpass over College Avenue. I don't want to call that a snowplow, but, you know, God bless them down here. They don't get this. They don't have the resources, and they're doing the best they can to get Interstate 10 open. Now, it is open from Lake Charles into Texas, still closed from here to New Orleans, and there's still a section in Florida closed from roughly Pensacola to Tallahassee. So there you go. Britta and Craig, another sunny day today, pushing 50, more melting. But again, it's not the surface streets. It's got to get this interstate open for through traffic.
Yes.
We'll keep our fingers crossed that it opens up by the end of the day today.
I mean, I've been held up on a big road closure on I-10 in Louisiana because of a tropical system. Not because of snow on I-10, because it does get shut down. I mean, floodwater has shut down I-10 multiple times because of hurricanes. It's so wild. I did want to ask you, Mike, while we have you, do you think some of the snow loss also might be sublimation? I mean, the overnight lows have been really cold. Do you think that that's part of the reason why we're losing some of this snowpack so quickly?
Yeah, I think so. But yesterday, the sun just beating down. By the way, yesterday, the sunshine and the temperatures got above freezing for 5 hours.
Oh, that makes a difference,
we're forecasting, right, and today we're forecasting temperatures above freezing for 11 hours.
There you go.
11 hours, so twice
That's a good amount
the amount of time. This morning, Yeah, this morning 24, didn't get as cold as we had expected. Yesterday morning it was 17 degrees colder. So today we're going to see those icy patches in the shady areas go. And my gosh, we got to get the interstate open. I mean, this is, we've had 2 days. And tomorrow and the weekend it gets really warm. So it'll be open by Saturday for sure. But all they really need to do is go down the road once with a plow and it's good to go. But they just don't have the resources.
That's true, yeah. Lack of resources. And be careful, too. You know, that reflectivity of the snow on your skin will also give you a sunburn. People forget about that sometimes. But I know a lot of it's melting away, so that's always good as well. Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel, thanks so much, and hopefully they'll get that open real soon here.
Bring in Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel, who is in Baton Rouge. You know what? I'm sure you're happy to be there to give us an update, but quite literally, you're stuck there because the airport is still shut until later today.
Is it opening at 4 p.m. today or it opened at 4 p.m. yesterday? Now I'm a little
Yesterday
confused.
it opened at 4 p.m. yesterday.
So thank you for correcting me.
I thought you were thinking about the highway and the interstates trying to get around.
Yeah, I-10 is shut down behind you.
Right, yeah. Britta, please pay attention to
I know,
the show.
I'm sorry.
It's your show after all.
All of America, all of Louisiana was just like, are you kidding me? They shut it down again. I'm sorry, guys. I got my day wrong.
That's okay. That's okay. Hey, save your applause until everybody finishes. Yeah, save your applause until everybody finishes screwing up. But back here, seriously, we're 24, as Britta mentioned, 25 in New Orleans, where they had a record snowfall of 8 inches. And get this cool stat. Now, this only goes back to 1948 at the airport. But if you add up all the snow that's fallen since 1948, every single day of the year, every storm, every snowflake, it only cuts up to 6.9 inches. So they had more snow on Tuesday than they've had total in the past 77 years. That kind of puts it in perspective. And thank goodness this didn't happen on Super Bowl Sunday. Can you imagine the blowback the city would have gotten for, hey, it's not supposed to snow in New Orleans. Anyway, we've been watching I-10 this morning. We just saw about 6 or 7 emergency vehicles, trucks, trucks that look like snow plows, but no plows. Just one from left to right, that's eastbound. And what I noticed yesterday on the eastbound lane is there was no snow. Let me take you to Interstate I-10. That's just downtown. It cuts off from 10 and 12. And this was what I shot around 3 p.m. yesterday. Full sun, and notice snowpack, not only on the interstate, but also on the on-ramp that I walked up to get the video, and no sign of any plowing or scraping. So I don't know if they're going to eventually get to that or if they're just going to wait for it to completely melt, and that's not going to be today. It would be probably sometime tomorrow afternoon. Today we get into the upper 40s, thank goodness. Yesterday we had 5 hours above freezing, and today we're forecasting 11 hours above freezing. Tonight we'll get down around freezing. So the roads are in much better shape than yesterday morning when we showed you basically a skating rink. This is the on-ramp to eastbound and the westbound ramps under the overpass here on College Ave. These vehicles are coming off actually the access road. But notice behind me, do you see any snow on the roadway? Nope, not a flake of snow, not a speck of ice. And they did not scrape these roads or salt them, as far as I know. I know they didn't scrape them, but everything with that sun angle here in Louisiana yesterday, full sun from sun up to sundown, really cleaned up the roadways. Now, that's not to say there aren't some issues this morning. There are some icy patches in the neighborhoods, under the trees, down from the, I should say, down sun angle from big buildings. If the area didn't get sun, it did melt off. And because of that, many schools are closed again today, including the schools here in East Baton Rouge Parish. Looking ahead, it's getting better and better today and tomorrow, up around 50. Wall-to-wall sunshine. The weekend getting close to 70 by Sunday. Remember last Saturday it was 78, and then it started going downhill, and then we had the big storm on Tuesday. Hey, let's show some of that video. We got a minute. Show some of the video from Tuesday in case you missed it. Just incredible pictures. Like, you can't be serious. This is Louisiana. And these are the same pictures we saw in New Orleans and Pensacola, out on the beaches. Really wild stuff. And by the way, I-10 is still shut down in Florida between Pensacola all the way to Tallahassee, along with the sections here.
Yeah, visibility drops
yes, it does.
so quickly. It's interesting, Mike, you were talking earlier about the sun angle because, I mean, you are far south, so you got a better sun angle here. I didn't think about that earlier.
Yeah, it always amazes me growing up north and moving to Atlanta in the south about over 40 years ago, how strong the sun is down south.
Yeah.
But basically yesterday we got above freezing for 5 hours, 38 degrees. But you have the albedo effect. We've got asphalt out here. The black body soaks up all the radiation and nothing. It's all gone. I mean,
it's impressive.
Now remember we had traffic. We had traffic on this road on Tuesday. It packed it down, and there was some melting, some slushiness. There was some melting on Tuesday, even though temperatures were in the mid-20s. We had the daylight, but still, I didn't think it would look this good this morning. But I'm happy to see that, and a lot of people will be happier, including the truckers, when I-10 is open, because they've been meandering.
We got to get that open
through Louisiana. Yeah, they've been meandering through town and on these surface streets and these back roads just to get their load they're hauling from point A to point B. So we got to get that back open here and also in Florida.
I mean, Mike, it's so good to have you there to get the visual, because we haven't had this much snow in Louisiana in more than 130 years. So there's nobody alive that knows how long visually and how long in actuality you need to get rid of that amount of snow on the ground. So now proof is in the pudding, thanks to your ground truth report.
And here's the ground.
We know it's looking better than it could.
Yeah, you see the ground, we still have 2 or 3 inches. It goes to show you how that radiation gets soaked up by different bodies.
Yeah, the difference
Snow
between
is a big reflector
sidewalk and
with a low albedo. And the pavement, look, just right here. No difference. No clearing, no salt, grass, pavement.
It's a science experiment in real life.
A little science experiment this morning in Mike's little weather clubhouse.
I love it.
Cool
Fox
one.
Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel, thank you for bringing us into the clubhouse. We'll talk to you later.
Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel out still in Baton Rouge, Louisiana through the duration of this event, from beginning to middle to end. Now, Mike, I think one thing to take note behind you is the sun did its job. I mean, you talk about the fact that some areas have been melted completely. Not to be deceived, though, Louisiana, I wrote it down, Lafayette, Louisiana had their all-time coldest temperature yesterday morning of 4 degrees. So it's still cold even this morning.
Yeah, it was 7 here yesterday, the coldest January temperature. They did get down to 2 back in 1895 in February. This morning now, just checking the top of the hour, 7 a.m. Central, it's down to 22 degrees here in the city of Baton Rouge, just off the record of 18, so not quite as cold as we'd expected. We did have some high clouds come in overnight, but as Marissa noticed, look at this. I mean, this all melted yesterday, 6 inches plus a snowfall, not a plow on the roadway, no salt that I know of or any brine, but you get full sun on a black body, the asphalt, and boy, at this latitude, even in late January, it just poof. Plus you had traffic mashing it down, you get some heating from the cars. But I want to show you what I shot on Interstate 110. This is downtown where it splits off from 10 and I-12. And this is the road surface. On the left is the on-ramp I walked up to get the video. Solid snow. There's been some probably DOT trucks on it. You could see some tire tracks, but there was about 4 inches of snow at 3 p.m. yesterday. So what's going to happen today? Well, the melting will continue, but my gut is if they don't scrape that today, it's not all going to melt away until tomorrow, because tomorrow we get up to 50, and today we're going to get into the upper 40s. The difference today is the number of hours above freezing, Marissa. Yesterday we were above freezing 5 hours officially at the airport, by the way, which reopened late yesterday afternoon. Above freezing for 5 hours, the high was 38. Today we're going up to 48, and the forecast is temperatures above freezing for 11 hours, plus a full day of Louisiana cobalt blue skies, and that is really going to do a number on the areas that are shaded. Not so much the sun, but the fact that temperatures are going to be running about 15 to 18 degrees above freezing. The grassy surfaces, what a difference, the albedo, the amount of reflectivity. The snow reflects the sun, but out here, the dark surfaces soak up the radiation. So snow and ice, none to be found, but the grass, so I have 2 or 3 inches of snow right here. So that's the difference. Neighborhoods too, a lot of snow on the grass. I saw a lot of snowmen yesterday. I thought about grabbing pictures, but boy, you don't get a chance very often to make a snowman, Marissa, this far south, and they were everywhere in the neighborhoods here in Baton Rouge. Again, a warm up today and tomorrow. It will get briefly below freezing again tonight and early tomorrow morning, but then over the weekend, close to 60 Saturday and into the upper 60s to near 70 on Sunday. So make the best of what's left of the snow today because it will vanish. One concern, though, is Interstate 10. There's the overpass. I was out here yesterday, and let me show you what I shot yesterday from just down the road, and I'm not sure what this is. It's not really a snowplow. It's more like a road grader. See it going from left to right there? It was pushing the snow off the overpass. Now, about an hour ago, we saw 6 or 7 DOT vehicles go down the interstate eastbound, and that's all we've seen. No word on when it's going to open up. Hopefully today. Also, we have that stretch in Florida closed, Marissa, from Pensacola all the way to Tallahassee. The low in Pensacola this morning, 21 degrees. So that's 6-7 inches of snow, that 8.8 in Milton. We had melting yesterday. There'll be more melting today. But again, if you don't plow the road with 6 to 8 inches of snow, that is not all going to melt in one day, and that's the issue. People wanting to get from Florida to Texas still, you're going to have to get off I-10 and take the back roads. Right now, it's closed in Louisiana from US 165. That's the east side of Lake Charles, all the way through Lafayette, through Baton Rouge, into New Orleans. But I did notice that I-12 from just east of here, around the north side of Lake Pontchartrain, over to its terminus at near Seidel is open. So that's an option going around the north side. The U.S. Highway, I believe 61, is open on the south side to get from here to New Orleans since 10 is shut down.
Yeah, locals maybe knowing the maze to get around portions of Louisiana, and then you get these big trucks that come in and they get diverted and they don't know where to go. I mean, I-10 is a major corridor. But Mike, it is really something. We were talking about the Baton Rouge airport. As you pointed out, it reopened yesterday afternoon around 4 p.m. But it was the first time in history that the airport there had to call for snow removal equipment. In fact, they had to bring in a couple of road graders to clear an inch of ice that had built up. They were able to do that. I'm sure the sun helped. But you think about people trying to get out to clean portions of I-10 with the melt and with the refreezing, you're breaking through ice, not snow anymore.
Well, and remember that in Houston, they brought trucks down from North Texas because they have plenty of plows and salt up in North Texas. And I was just talking with my crew here. They could have easily, I think, this is my suggestion, grab some plows in Arkansas, which is not that far away. It's the adjacent state. They have plenty of plows and salt, especially north of 40 at Little Rock, the Ozark Mountains, and brought 5 or 6 of those down here for a day and a half, and we're done. But, you know, again, I'm sitting here Monday morning quarterbacking and just throwing out a suggestion that there are plows not far away. But, you know, I don't know how it all worked out. And the bottom line is we got to get this interstate open, hopefully today, because there are a lot of people, a lot of trucks that want to get east-west, and they're coming through Baton Rouge. They're going on back roads, and it really slows them down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, an unprecedented event. I think they did the best they could, but to your point, I mean, should this ever happen again in our lifetime, there are definitely things we can take away and learn from, and bringing in outside resources from different states that could help ease the load for places like Louisiana. Yep. All right, Mike, we'll be checking in with you throughout the morning. Thank you.
Oh, wait a minute. You got a second?
Do we have a second?
Can we come back real quick?
Can we take Mike again?
Do we have a second to come back?
Yeah, you're back. You're
just
back.
For 10 seconds.
Go for it.
We're going to spin around and show the sunrise. It's pretty good, except for the pole and buildings, but that's what you were showing earlier.
Yeah.
So here comes the sun, here comes the melting. Thanks for the extra time, and we'll see you back here at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
Winter really does have some of the best sunrises and sunsets. Beautiful skies, orange skies over Baton Rouge. We'll see how much heating that sun can do. That radiation is going to be a little prevented because of the snow on the ground, but we'll see. Appreciate Mike's updates from Baton Rouge. We'll see him in the next hour. Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel is out in the elements in Baton Rouge. Mike, you are also, well, your airport, Baton Rouge Airport, opened up yesterday afternoon, but they had to chip away at about an inch worth of ice that was there on the runways. And I can still see roads look good, so kudos to the crews that were cleaning them, but you can see the piles of what was once this big winter storm.
Yes, indeed. That 7 inches has melted in a big way yesterday. We had 5 hours above freezing. Today, we're looking at 11 hours above freezing, up to 48. So the patches of ice in the shady areas, the neighborhood streets, that's going to get cleared up in a big way today. If not today, certainly tomorrow, with more sun and temperatures up around 50. You can see the side streets, the surface streets down towards College Avenue, everything is in great shape, and no plows and no sod. It just melted off. Just the amazing power of the sun angle, even in late January at this low latitude. Now, where I'm standing, this is I-10. Eastbound going this way towards New Orleans, westbound that way through the city and up to Lafayette. All closed right now towards Lafayette to 165 on this side of Lake Charles. Now, going towards New Orleans, it looks like it has reopened from Prairieville, which is about 12, 14 miles down the road, all the way into the Big Easy, based on the LA, Louisiana DOT map. But this stretch is still closed, so we got about 12 miles to here, and then through Baton Rouge, and then all the way past Lafayette is still closed, at least one side of the road. Let me show you what I shot yesterday. In fact, I shot it from right down here, and you'll see what's coming across the bridge. I don't think it's a snow plow. I would call it more like a road grader, but you got to do what you got to do to get the snow off the highways. This gentleman was going back and forth, and that's what you see here in the background. He piled the snow off the bridge. Remember, bridges freeze first, and they're going to collect more snow and ice right over here. There is salt on the roadway. There was salt on the ramp. This is the on-ramp to I-10 East. Looking very, very nice this morning. So the question is, how long before they open up the stretch of road? We've seen a lot of DOT vehicles going back and forth on the roadway. I don't know what the holdup is, but I got to feel that this is going to open up today, if not in the short term. 24 now, going up to 48. So that is going to help things in a big way. Also, we have that I-10 stretch shut down, a long stretch in Florida, Pensacola to Tallahassee. Not for tropical weather, but for snow. Milton, Florida, in case you missed it, doubled their state record to 8.8. So a new state record, 8.8 inches in Milton, Florida in the Panhandle. So still snow there, and maybe they'll get that open today. What they did here, I was mentioning this on the previous live shot, Marissa, maybe they should have reached out to Louisiana. Louisiana should have reached out to Arkansas. Well, they did. I just found out from work. Britta told me that they had talked to the governor of Louisiana last night. He got plows from Arkansas. I have to believe this had been plowed, has been plowed since the storm ended on Tuesday evening. Meanwhile, let me show you I-10. This takes you up to I-110, which is a spur into Baton Rouge. And look at the road surface. 3 o'clock, mid-afternoon yesterday. Nothing touched, nothing scraped. So my gut is this got scraped and melted off. They used salt, and that 110 stretch had not been scraped as of 3 p.m. yesterday. That's what I'm thinking, because otherwise there's no reason for that to look like that. And I am still surprised because the surface streets and all the roads everywhere else are in great shape this morning, Marissa, and we're going to be in fine shape by the weekend. How about upper 60s? Maybe we get some 70-degree readings back on Sunday. Last Saturday it was 78, but this week so far has been much below average. And by the way, the average high now, Marissa, has gone up 1 degree from 62 to 63, courtesy of, well, the higher sun angle, and also they've picked up about 25 minutes of daylight. So we're heading up, and in about 4 or 5 months, if you don't have air conditioning, you probably don't even want to be out here because it's going to be ghastly hot and sticky.
I was asking people on social media, so what do you prefer, a wind chill in the single digits or a heat index in the triple digits? Most people said a heat index in the triple digits, which I personally, Mike, would rather stand where you are, where it's feeling much colder. But hey, to each their own, right?
I can take the heat index of 101. I'll go to the pool. I'll go back home to the beach. I can find a breeze somewhere. But when it's cold, it's cold.
Yeah.
That's just my take. And, 5 layers versus a bathing suit out on the beach, with a glass of iced tea. I mean, come on.
I mean, I can handle...
a bad day at Fox Weather doesn't top a good day at Fox Weather doesn't top a bad day at the beach. You know what they say.
I mean, I'll take a 100-degree heat index with an iced tea on the beach. But if I have to stand in it for I don't know, work in full clothing, I don't know, Mike. I don't know.
Oh.
Either way, you're right. That's it. Yeah.
I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you. This stand here for 5 hours versus 5 hours in a heat index of 105. No, this I don't feel a thing. 24, 5 layers, I'm comfy, I'm toasty.
Okay, we're on the
Got you
same
on that
page.
one. I
Same
agree.
page, yeah, same page, right? It's all
Yeah.
relative, right? But either way, Louisiana would be back before we know it to feeling like 100 degrees. Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel out there in Baton Rouge, where the roads are looking so much better. Hopefully, a little bit of normalcy as we head into Thursday afternoon.
Snow is falling. It's been remarkable with what we've been dealing with. I want to bring in storm specialist and meteorologist Mike Seidel. Hey, Mike. Yeah, I can hear you. Letting you know that here in Charleston this morning, temperatures dropping into the low 20s, where plows and shovels have not touched. This place is an ice rink today.
We've had better luck here, Stephen. Yesterday we were in the upper 30s. We had above freezing temperatures from late morning till late afternoon, 5 hours. Today, based on the meteogram from the Weather Service, 11 hours above freezing. The sun is up. Our temperature now is going from 22 to 30. The surface streets, what a melt yesterday. Incredible. I still always underestimate the power of the sun angle down here, even in late January, just a month past the solstice. But there's not a speck of snow or ice on the road surface, and that's what you see everywhere. Now, anything that's been shaded by buildings, neighborhoods, there's still ice and snow on the streets because the trees blocked the sun yesterday. But look at the interstate. I'm almost certain they plowed this early yesterday, and they allowed the melting. Also, we did see the DOT trucks, snow plows. Where did they come from? Louisiana. The governor called up to Louisiana, and the DOT sent some plows down here, and they came by a little while ago. They didn't really have much to plow at this point. There's salt on the bridges. The sun is out. The road surface temperatures back up around 45 to 50. So we're all set to open up the interstate. It's closed all the way east of Lake Charles. That's the other side of Lafayette, to east of Baton Rouge by about 15 miles. So that's normally about a 2.5 hour drive, I believe, off the top of my head. And we're just waiting for the barricades to come down and traffic to zip on through, and then we'll get the heck out of here. But in the meantime, the sun is out. Let me take you back one more time to Tuesday, because the pictures are just incredible to see this kind of snowfall rate, an inch an hour at 26 and 27 degrees. This is something that would be impressive anywhere up north, Chicago, Baltimore, New York. Is it ever going to snow in New York again? A big one? Any place up north, this would be an impressive snowstorm, but considering I-10 this far south, and we're getting double-digit snowfalls. New Orleans ended up with 8 inches of snow, their snowiest day on record. By the way, they're at the airport 32 right now. We were at 30 at the top of the hour, but it's probably warmed up a couple more degrees, up to around freezing here. 40% of departures today are still canceled or have been canceled in New Orleans. Here in Baton Rouge, where the airport officially opened at 4 p.m. yesterday, 25% of flights have been canceled. I think there was mostly the morning flights, but I think most of the afternoon flights are going out. That's a good thing, because I'm ready to go home. I love Louisiana, but it's time to go home after being here since Sunday. So things are beginning to gradually open up. By the way, the airport's open. Most schools today, Stephen, were closed. So another snow day, that's 3 this week. I suspect they'll open tomorrow because, like I said, unless there's a building blocking a main thoroughfare, the snow and ice, it was gone at the end of the day yesterday. 6 inches just like that. But again, it's all about albedo, what soaks up the radiation. The concrete, the asphalt, they really warm up. The ground doesn't warm up as much. So you can see on the hillsides here and across the street, we still have 2 to 3 inches. So about half the snow still remains. But that will be gone. Most of this will be gone by the end of the day tomorrow, because tomorrow, more sun in 50 and then pushing 70 by Sunday. So back to above average late weekend here in Louisiana.
And honestly, you talking about Baton Rouge, Mike, it's essentially like Charleston in that temperatures nudging close to freezing this morning. We're going to see that melt. The one thing I wish that we could see is that overperforming sun angle, because we just haven't quite seen the sun do the work that it needs to do here in Charleston. Maybe we get that opportunity today. We will see. Appreciate it.
Here we go.
Storm specialist and meteorologist.
Here we go.
Mike
With vehicles
Seidel.
going down the highway here. There. Just showing you real quick, these are the DOT vehicles, 3, 4, 5, 6, going back and forth down the highway, checking it out for about the 18th time. So we feel pretty confident this interstate's going to open sooner rather than later, and that's going to be good for through traffic, because right now it's shut from east of Lake Charles, east of here, and also a big stretch in Florida from Tallahassee to Pensacola is still closed. So it's impacting a lot of folks that want to go from, say, from Houston to Jacksonville, vice versa, including a lot of semi-trucks, big rigs.
Well, and when you're looking for resources, at least where you're at in Baton Rouge, to help you from other states, you imagine Interstate 10 is more of a road that we worry about to flood, not to freeze over and to close down because of the snow that we're dealing with. So those conditions, yep, we need Mother Nature to help things out. Mike Seidel for us in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Mike, thank you. Our Mike Seidel, but he's not in Charleston. We're taking it to Louisiana. He's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, after experiencing several inches of snow, more snow than what we got here in South Carolina. But Mike, bring you in on the conversation. You had mentioned how the sun was an overperformer yesterday, allowing a lot of that melt to occur. We just don't have that yet here in Charleston.
Yes, indeed. I was still surprised at the end of the day yesterday, and then driving around to find this location. But all the surface streets, this is College. We woke up to not a speck of snow or ice really anywhere on any street that is not shaded. Now you get back into some of the neighborhoods downtown. There's still some snow and ice. There was at 5 o'clock this morning. What's going on right now is the temperatures just jumped above freezing. We're at 33. We're heading up into at least the mid 40s. More sunshine today, and temperatures won't drop as fast tonight. First of all, it's going to be warmer. So last night it was back below freezing about an hour or so after sunset. Tonight it'll take a little bit longer. It will go back below freezing tonight, but not as cold as this morning's 21-degree reading. This is I-10. A lot of frustrated people. In fact, we just saw 2 vehicles go around the barricade eastbound towards New Orleans. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how long it's going to be, but as far as the eye can see, the interstate is clear of snow and ice. In fact, look at this, looking eastbound, it's even out. They must, I'd assume the Louisiana DOT got it plowed yesterday. They borrowed plows from the state of Arkansas next door. What a great idea. In fact, I had thought about that, and then I realized I was told by Britta that Ian interviewed the governor last night, and they had brought the plows in from Louisiana. So it's good to share things, especially with your neighbors just to the south. So that was a good call. We saw the plows go by once this morning. They had the blades down on the bridge, and then they put them up. But everything that was out here, a little bit of snow, that's all melted now because the temperature's 33, but the road surface, I don't have my gun with me, but should be around 50 degrees. So another nice day of melting, especially those shady areas where we'll get above freezing. Now, as far as the weather goes, tomorrow, we'll start off just below freezing, but then back up about 50 on Saturday in the upper 50s to near 60, and then on Sunday in the upper 60s to near 70. So a complete turnaround from way below average. Yesterday morning, 7 degrees, the coldest morning in January since the 1890s, and Saturday was 78, and this Sunday we may hit 70. I'll show you what they were using yesterday right up here. In fact, I was just down on the service road. This looks like a grader, a road grader, a very small piece of machinery compared to what snowplows are. And it had a blade on the front, and it went across the overpass, the bridge behind me, and pushed the snow right over here. This is where they put the snow right here. That was what was left on the bridge. So they got that bridge, this overpass over College Road, nice and clear. So, Stephen, don't know when this is going to open up, but you would think it would be soon. It's not far down the road towards New Orleans that it opens up by the I-12 split, and I-12 is open on the north side of Lake Pontchartrain. So I can't imagine it won't be open up sometime this afternoon. I would be shocked.
It's one of those things, Mike, where the sun being out is such a helpful thing. And what we're dealing with here in Charleston with the thick clouds, I'm not sure if you'd seen the radar. There is some moisture that's trying to work into to South Carolina, so that could be a concern. But regardless of it, before we let you go, key takeaways. You would have never expected to cover a snowstorm like this in Baton Rouge. Am I right?
No, farthest south I've ever covered snow. The previous was 4 years ago, February 15th, up on I-20. So that's the northern third of the state, around Shreveport and Monroe, Louisiana, but not this far south. Never this far south have I covered snow. And not only snow, not a couple of inches at 32 degrees, but 6 to 8 inches in the mid-20s. I mean, it was powder. And then we get these totals in over a foot. And New Orleans gets, oh, by the way, here's the stat. New Orleans, I looked this up. New Orleans had 8 inches of snow, Stephen. If you add up every flake of snow that's fallen since 1947 at the airport, you only get 6.9 inches. So they had more snow a couple of days ago than they've had every day over the past 77 years. There's a stat for your cocktail party.
Incredible. Yeah, I'll tell you what, it was efficient snowmaking weather in Louisiana. That's just what we got. Mike Seidel around to experience it, and it was great to see those shots. Mike, thank you.
Specialist Mike Seidel is in a chilly Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Mike, we still have some snow out there on the ground, though Mother Nature has started to evaporate that away.
Melted a lot of it yesterday, Jane. I was really surprised, but then I always estimate the powerful southern sun angle, even in late January. Surface streets, this is the way we saw them. Not a fleck of snow or a bit of ice anywhere. It's all in the grass. There is still some ice and snow on the shady sides of the street. A lot of the neighborhoods that have trees have ice and snow. And you can see the difference, the albedo, the reflectivity of the snow. You've got snow on the grass, but look at the highway here. Now, this was plowed, almost certain it was plowed by the way, trucks from Arkansas. They borrowed snow trucks from Arkansas, snow plows rather, and we just saw one go by. But look at this roadway. This is magnificent. All the way eastbound, there go the emergency vehicles and the distance DOT pickups. I can't imagine it's going to be much longer before they get this major interstate open. Right now, it's closed from east of Lake Charles, through Baton. Based on the DOT map, far down the road where 10 and 12 split, 10 reopens and 12 is open on the north side of Lake. So we're good to go up. I think it may be the I-10 section. We've got video from that I shot yesterday. This is 110 that connects up with 10 and 12 downtown. I went up the ramp, I walked up the ramp and shot the video. Look at this, 3 o'clock yesterday, still 4 or 5 inches of snow on the road surface. Nothing had been plowed. So I'm suspecting this morning they're doing the mop up and getting that open, that section that takes you into downtown Baton Rouge. The good news is, what a warm up, Jane. Last hour, 33, 11 a.m. here in Baton Rouge, it's up to 41. So it's going up 8 degrees. We're heading up to 48 this afternoon. We're expecting 10 or 11 hours above freezing. Yesterday we had 5, and look at all the melting. So we're certainly looking at the end of this this travel nightmare. The only thing that's closed right now is I-10 in Louisiana, not the whole stretch. And then there's a section in Florida, last time I checked, still closed, between Pensacola and Tallahassee. Remember, areas in the Western Panhandle had upwards of almost 9 inches. Milton, Florida, doubling the previous state record, which they set with 4.4, with 8.8 inches of snow. So temperatures today upper 40s. Tonight there will be some refreezing. We'll get down around 28 or 29, and then tomorrow back up close to 50. Over the weekend back into the 60s to near 70. Well, that sounds good, but it's just an amazing storm, Jane, to see this much snow. And the fact that it fell at 26 or 27 degrees, it did melt the next day, all melt the next day, and it just stayed cold down here this far south. That 7-degree reading yesterday morning was certainly amazing, too. That's their coldest temperature on record in January. Just waiting for traffic to show up here on the interstate.
Well, it is good to see that they are at least clearing some of these roads after what you saw yesterday afternoon. In fact, there are still a couple cameras we're watching around town that have that caked snow and ice still on those bridges and overpasses. But what a storm to remember, Mike. And boy, that 70-degree reading by Sunday does certainly feel like how it should feel down there in Louisiana.
Oh, it's going to be great.
It's going to be perfect.
You know, their average high has warmed up. We're getting out of the depths of winter here in Baton Rouge. It was 62. Now the average high is 63, courtesy of the fact, we're still climatologically in the coldest part of the year, but down here the sun angle is higher. Also, like many of us in the South, we've picked up about 30 minutes of daylight. So the average high is 63, and not long from now, Jane, it'll be 95 with a dew point of 75. The heat index will be 105. And it'll be ghastly out here on I-10.
A lot of those Louisiana folk have certainly been thinking those warm thoughts the last couple of days. So we are on the right side of things now as we look into the weekend. Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel in Baton Rouge for us today. Appreciate the report.